welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be going over the local player gaze and origin chip. And if you're wondering why I'm not holding my maker pen, I'm going to show you a little example I made just now. If you look at this block, you're going to hear a sound effect go off. And whenever you look at it, it plays a sound effect. Of course, you can use it for other things too besides making a sound effect. But we will go over the chip now. So I'm going to delete this whole example right here because it was just something I made in my free time. And let's get on with the tutorial. So first we're going to type in local, and it should just come up with each chip that we need. The local player gaze origin and the local player gaze direction. And I explained this in my update video. But the local player gaze origin is it gets the origin of where you're looking. So let's say this is probably going to be a bad example. Let's say I am looking down. It's going to get the coordinates of where I'm looking down and everything based on that. And the direction, I'm pretty sure the direction just gets the direction of where you're looking. Yeah, outputs the origin of where you're looking. And what this is useful for is having people look at things, as I just showed you an example. So, for example, maybe you want to be like, oh, there's something behind you. And maybe you detect that the person looked at the wall behind them, and therefore when they turn around something will be in front of them. So I'm just going to show you some basic uses for this chip since I think that's probably for the best. So I think that the best way to use this chip is to pair it with a raycast chip. Yes, you can use the equals chip in that, but I think it's best to pair this with a raycast chip. And the reason I say pair this with a raycast chip is because the raycast chip will basically do everything for you when you put it in. You put in the direction and you put in, the starting position with the distance, and it will output everything over here for you. We're not gonna, hook that up to the player gaze origin. This already gets the origin point of where you're looking. It just doesn't output it in like a tag form or whatever. It actually outputs it in a specific position. I'll explain that one a bit later after this one. So here what we're going to do is obviously we're going to connect the direction to the direction. I don't think I really need to explain that. And we are going to get to position, and there's a few things you can do for the position. I like to get the player head, which is the new chip that will get the player head. Where is it? Player head position. Yeah, there it is. Player head position. You can also get the player head height. You can get the player body if you want. I just recommend getting the player head because you're trying to get where the person is looking. You're not really trying to get where the person's looking in their. Maybe you do want to get the starting position for the body, and now if you look there, it's going to get whatever's in front of your body, not your head. But we're not going over that right now. We're just going over the head position, local gaze, and stuff. So connect the player head position to the start position. You don't need to worry about doing anything with this. Just keep it local player, and it will get what that specific player is looking at. And you can change the distance to whatever you want. I'll change it to like 1000. I think that's a pretty good distance. And now here where we're going to get into a few of the chips. So I like to get a hashtag chip. This is how I do my menus in the game. Like, if you have someone in a seat with a start and back button in front of them with like a trigger handle. That's how you get it. So you're going to want a hashtag chip. This is not going to work with an equals chip. This is why you need to use the hashtag chip, because if you use the equals chip, it acts a little strange for something. And you see how it's already getting the sandbox wall, what I'm staring at right now. So we do not have anything to put in the tag yet. We'll have something to put in the tag in a second. Let's get an if chip, because if you're going to use a hashtag or equals or anything with a boolean, you're going to want an if chip. Sorry, it's more than if I'm not talking the best. That's why. And we're going to connect that to the if chip. Next, we are going to get a event receiver, because the event receiver is going to activate whenever we look at a certain object. Change this to 30 hertz a second. And after we change that to 30 hertz a second, we're just going to connect this here. Not going to do nothing because, you know, we have nothing here. So let's go ahead and get an object. I think I'm just going to get maybe a target. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just going to get a target. And just place it right here. This is what we're going to look at. We're going to want to get the tag of the target, because we're going to put the tag up there. The tag of the target's target should have figured. And we're just going to put the tag right here, target. And now you know when we look at the target, you're going to see that this changes. It's going to be kind of hard to show you this. Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard to show you this, but just believe me. Maybe actually I can put this above me. Yeah, I'm going to put this right here. And now if I look up at the target, it's acting a bit strange. Wait a second. Oh, maybe it's because I have it selected. Yeah, and now it shows me the target whenever I'm looking at the target. It's getting the direction ahead of me. That's why it's even though I'm looking up like this, it's gonna get the sandbox wall. It gets whatever's directly ahead of you. So remember that. Anyway, we're gonna place the target down here, and whenever I look at the target, I am going to have a sound effect play, or maybe a subtitle play saying behind you. So go ahead and get a subtitle chip and place it right here. We're gonna do a few things before we hook this up, because if we do this, it's just gonna spam the subtitle. We only want it to activate once. So of course, we're going to get everyone's favorite chip, the int variable, because the int variable is just that great of a chip. We're going to spread this out a little bit. So I'm going to place this here, place this right here. And then we're going to get a add chip. So ADD, you know, pretty easy stuff to type in. And then after we get that, we're going to connect the int variable like so, and have it add 1 every time it activates. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, it's still not going to work. Yep, it's not going to work yet. We still need to get a few more chips. We need to get equal. We're going to spread this out a little bit more. We need quite a lot of room, so I'll put this over here. We're going to get an equals chip and an if chip, you know, our favorite chips to get, the chips that you will 100% use if you're ever using CV2. And we're going to connect this here, and when the int variable equals 1, then this is going to activate and play the subtitle, which will say behind you. Maybe I should have got some behind you audio before I started this video. Whatever. Behind you, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And there, it should work. So if we stare at the target, it will work. Before we do that, I'm going to copy this up here. And whenever this is false, it is going to reset this to 0. That is so it doesn't keep going up afterwards. And now, if we look at the target, it's going to say behind you one time, not multiple times. And if I go ahead and look at the int variable, it's back to 0 to do that again. Now I'm going to get something to spawn behind me, which should be pretty easy because once this activates one time, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to make this 2 seconds because I think 3 seconds is a bit too long. You can keep this local player too. I think it'd be better if you just keep all the player chips local player so everyone has their own separate chips basically. Okay, so now we're going to get a transform. Yeah, we're going to get a set transform. I mean, we could also get position too. And what we are going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this target right here. And I'm going to give it a different tag. I'm going to give this a tag of, I don't know. Let's give it the tag of monster. And now that we gave it the tag, let's get a rec room get first if tag chip. Gonna place this right here and put in the tag of monster. And once we type in the tag of monster, our target should appear here. We can go ahead and connect that to the set transform. And the next thing is to get the position and rotation. Which to get the position and rotation, what I personally like to do, I mean, there's many ways you can do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a vector component. And what I like to do is I like to point the vector maybe right where you want the target to be and just go ahead and drag it down a little bit. Let's drag it a little bit to player height. Okay, and now that we've done that, we can go ahead and move the target. And just to show you that it works, I'm going to also rotate it this way and drag it under the map. And now that we've done that, let's get the position of this. Uh, yeah, let's get a position chip and a rotation chip. So get position and get rotation. When you type in get, a lot of chips will spawn in, but most importantly, you just want to get the position rotation chips. I'm just going to type in this so they pop up quicker. Get position and get rotation. And after we get both these chips, we are going to connect the top of the vector component to it. Like so. Then we're going to connect this to the set transform chip. And now, if I go ahead and let's see, where's my vector chip? Yeah, and then it spawns right there. So if I go ahead and reset right now, if I go ahead and turn and look ahead, it's going to say behind you. You turn around and, ooh, there's your monster. Very scary, right? And of course it resets and stuff. And you can go ahead and change it because I know that you can sit all the way back here and look at the target and it will spawn in. So if I go ahead and uh, it's kind of hard to look at the target. Yeah, look at the target from back there. To change that, you can just go ahead and change the distance on your raycast. So change the distance to, I don't know, let's say 5 meters. So you have to be close to look at it. And not to mention, also with the raycast, you can also get it to look at a player too, besides objects, and get them to ignore that and everything. And there you go. Now that even though I'm looking at it from over here, it's not going to work until I get close enough. And then there you go, it spawns in. Looks like I need to change the number to be a bit closer, but you can see that it works. And now that we went over that chip, let's go over the local player gaze origin chip. This won't take long. I just wanted to show the local player gaze direction chip really. The local player gaze origin, it gets the origin point where the person is looking. So basically it will just get where the player is looking and get the coordinates. So if I'm looking at this wall right now, it's going to get the exact coordinates of where I'm looking on this wall. So, I mean, I guess you, besides using this, if you want to, you can get the exact coordinates of something and put an equals chip next to here and connect it to the exact position of something. So let's say that I'm gonna go ahead and borrow this for a second. I'm gonna change the maker pin object over here to target. I don't want to spawn a new one in, so you guys are just gonna have to deal with this. So we are gonna get the target over here, and then we are gonna get the position, which of course, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and borrow this stuff from everywhere else. And now if I go ahead and get the position of the target right there and put it here, now if I look at this, it should be true, and the same thing should happen down here. So let me go ahead and reset it real quick, and it should work. I don't exactly know. All I do know is it gets the exact coordinates of your origin. But anyway, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.